Welcome. Good morning. Today's December virtual designer talk on hardscape effects on design aesthetics. We'll start now. My name is Linda Abbott, and I'm the Senior Architectural Design Consultant for StoneHardscapes. I've been working in the industry with landscape architects, and interior designers for the last 20 years or so. So today's topic, I think, is a very important one. So I've added this in for the end of the year, just because many of our clients today, whether it be in the residential world or the commercial world, are looking to do their exterior spaces. So their outdoor spaces have become #1 priority for residents doing their backyards, and for hotels and such doing their courtyards renovations and their exterior pool deck renovations. This can be very helpful to you. So I wanted to start by talking about that. Our webinar goals that we're going to achieve today are reviewing finish alternatives for exterior applications and how to allow size and finish to create design flexibility. And I'm going to go into each of these. There's 3 alternative natural stone finishes for exteriors that are used today for hotel and residentials. So for commercial and residential use. The tumbled finish, the leathered finish, and the extreme grit finish are the 3 finishes that I'll be discussing with you today if you would like to use natural stone on your projects. This is a finished project with the tumbled finish, just so you can kind of get an idea of how it looks. This is the Marriott Bonvoy Hotel in Virginia Beach. The tumbling process to create the tumbled finish is the most popular today, only because it's been out for 20 years, so it's widely used around the country and abroad. All of these finishes pass slip coefficient of friction testing for both residential and commercial use. So I just want to make that clear so that you know that when you're using these for exterior projects, that they are safe, okay? So I'm just going to show you a quick little video of the natural stone being cut. And I didn't press the right button, so give me 1 minute here. Here you go. So this gentleman is, once the stone is cut into large slabs, he's putting it on the conveyor belt, and he's going to lay that down, and the wet saw is going to come across it, and it's going to cut the paver, or cut the slab into a paver. And he's going to get rid of the waste. And what he's creating here are 24 by 24 pieces of stone. So each piece of stone is a square cut paver. When he finishes that process, they'll come out looking like this. It's going to be a square edge, saw cut, rectified piece of material that will be started with, and it has to go through the finishing process at this point. The finishing process starts off by brushing the tops of the stone. When you do this, it takes away the saw marks that occur from the last process. So it goes through these machines, and the brushing process is done here. The machines look like this. You can kind of see how that works. So this is all part of the tumbling process. First, the stone gets cut, then it goes through the brushing machines to take off the saw marks that are on top of the stone. When it comes out, you'll have a nice square rectified edge. The tops will be brushed to take the saw marks off. Next, it goes through the tumbling phase. And the tumbling process has 2 different ways of doing it. This is the smaller size stones going into what looks like a big tumbling machine, or it looks like a washing machine with rocks, basically. and the stones will beat up the pavers, and it'll soften the edges of the stone. And you can see some of them are breaking in process, but the finished look will be like this. So you don't have that hard rectified edge anymore, that square edge of the stone. On the larger stones, they have to use machines that look like this. There's rocks in there as well, and the machines vibrate and shake around, and the larger pieces of stone kind of go around in them. So the finish on top of the stone will be tumbled, and the edges will be softer and not so rectified. The stones will come out looking like this at the end. You'll have a softer finish on the edges. The tops will now be finished. They'll be tumbled. So now it'll pass the slip coefficient of friction testing. This is also important for when you are doing a sand set application instead of a mud set application. Those softer edges give it gives forgiveness when the sand shifts underneath. So you don't have the lip edge across a pool deck, for example, that you would if you were using a rectified stone, which is not suitable for exterior sand set application. So the finished look kind of looks like this here. You can see here the edges are not perfectly square. This is a sand set application. The edges are soft. The top is now tumbled, so it is great for exterior wet applications. The next finish that I wanted to show you that is very useful for exterior use is the extreme grip finish, or what some people call the sandblasted finish. This is great for if you want a lot more grip than what the tumbled can provide for you. And I'm going to show you how this is done. So in the extreme grip finishing process, once the stone goes through the regular process that I showed you before, it's put on the conveyor belts, and sand is actually in those machines, and they beat up on the tops of the stone. So that's them pushing the sand off of the stone and moving it to the next area. And I'm going to show you another video that shows you a closer up look. So this is sand all over the stone. You'll see it over here coming out. And they call this blasting the stone overseas. So it comes out looking like this. And they're going to show a close-up picture. As you can see here, you see the divots in the stone. That gives it more grip. It almost has a pumice stone feel to it. And it really makes the stone have the extreme grip. Pretty cool. Great for assisted living facilities. So if you want to use a natural stone in a place like an assisted living facility, you don't have to worry about it being slippery at all. That's the finished look. The next one that I wanted to share with you is the leathered finish. This is also a newly popular finish for stone. It's actually a combination of going through the tumbling process and the brushing of it, as well as the extreme grip process that I just showed you. What they do is they first sandblast the stone, and then after that, they lightly brush it. And that leathered finish has texture to it. And it's a very interesting and beautiful look that appears on the stone. I also wanted to mention to you, the tumbling process has been out, like I said, for over 20 years, and it's the most popular because of that. The extreme grip started mostly in the Northeast, so they're used to the sandblasted material up there, and it has become very popular in that area. In regards to the leathered finish, that kind of started over in Florida on the West Coast. The leather finish has become very popular over there. So it kind of moves across the country, depending on, the exposure of it. Combining textures to achieve unique designs. This one here is showing you the Extreme Grip paver, which is the whiter of the two colors here. On a driveway application, they combine the Extreme Grip paver as well as the tumbled paver to give it a unique look. And the overall finished project looks really unique because it has some texture to it in some spaces. This is a picture showing you the tumbled paver in conjunction with the split face veneer that is on the raised wall and on the barbecue area. We use the same color stone, but a different finish to create texture to the deck. Same process happened here, using the same material, different finish to create a unique design and a little design flair to the space. So how can finish and size dictate the project's aesthetic outcome? Here's an example of marble. This is our ice marble. On the left-hand side, it is the Extreme Grip paver or Extreme Grip finish. And on the right side is the tumbled finish. We use the ashlar pattern for both applications, but as you can see, the Extreme Grip finish brings on a more modern flair. So it can, even though you're using the ashlar pattern, which is more a traditional style, putting it in the Extreme Grip finish creates a more contemporary feel versus the right-hand side that shows you the tumbled finish ashlar pattern. On a pool deck, it gives it a more traditional, sometimes transitional feel. It's just pretty cool how this is the same exact stone in a different finish, which changes the look of the stone. In another application, we use the whiter stone here on the left in a 24 by 24 Extreme Grip. This creates a more modern feel across the deck. Adding the artificial turf also gives it some unique design aesthetic. On the right-hand side, it's more of a traditional feel of a pool. And they use the ashlar pattern here in the tumbled finish. It kind of gives it a more transitional look. It's not so traditional, but it is a transitional feel that's going across this deck. Here's a different material that is showing the Extreme Grip finish on the left and the tumbled finish on the right. Again, the same material, different finish, and different sizes can create the design aesthetic you're looking for. So on the left-hand side, the 12 by 24 paver actually creates a more modern feel and gives the project a more contemporary look. On the right-hand side, using the tumbled finish in the ashlar pattern creates a more transitional feel. When you're using one size, that in itself creates a more contemporary feel, whether it's rectangles or squares, all in one size, that will give you the feel of a more contemporary outcome. Here it is again, showing you a contemporary outcome using 16 by 24 staggered running bond on this pool deck in a white marble. So if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask me in regards to what I had just went over with you, I'd be more than happy to answer them now, or feel free if you'd like to reach out to me on email or give me a call, and I'll be happy to assist you with your projects. Thanks so much. Until next time, stay healthy, stay creative, and happy holidays. Have a great one, guys.